Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Yollab Central. Today, I have with me Russell. So, Russell, would you like to tell our audience why they should be excited about this conversation today?
Just so everybody knows, my name is Russel Van Brocklen. I'm a New York State Senate dyslexia funded researcher. And what I'm going to show you today is how I use the processes I use to teach dyslexics to quickly overcome their reading and writing concerns. I'm going to show you how you can come up with original ideas for social media that can be your authentic voice, your authentic concepts, even if you're in a very generic industry and you're thinking about how can I differentiate myself from everybody else? I'm going to show you how to do that today.
All right. So, before we dive into that very idea, right, I just want to ask your opinion on this because I think a research paper came out that in the past 5 years, that right now, with the boom of AI and AI written content, right, the internet is currently like almost 50% AI written content, which was not the case like 4 or 5 years ago, where it was a 30-70 mix earlier, but now it's all close to 50-50. Now, since we are talking about authentic content, but then there's so much automation and AI writing content for everybody. What's your view and how should people be looking at it?
Oh, you mean the slop?
Yeah.
No, I mean that's what it's basically is. It's a bunch of slop. I know because when it comes to social media, I've tried them all, and I found the one where it's just actually worth my time is LinkedIn.
Hmm.
I actually publish an article each day.
Okay.
I publish a post each day,
Right.
and it's original and it's not slop. Okay. So let me first tell you about my background, then how I do that, and then how I can show you how to do something original. Because I know this because I do it every day. And when I tried this new process that I created relatively recently,
Mhm.
my impressions went up to thousands a day per article
Right.
without doing anything else.
Hmm.
Okay. So why should you listen to me about writing? Well, Dyslexia, and just so everybody knows, this is the primary book on dyslexia. It's Overcoming Dyslexia by Dr. Sally Shaywitz from Yale.
Right.
That's dyslexia. Do you see how
Okay.
the back of my brain has almost no neural activity, but the back of your brain's going crazy?
Hmm.
And how the front part of my brain's about 2.5 times overactive?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. The front part of the brain is overactive by 2.5 times. And that deals with, according to Yale, articulation followed by word analysis. So what I did is I took the graduate records exam analytical writing assessment, which you said you got your MBA. If you're applying to a lot of international schools, you got to take the GMAT. Same type of writing thing. It's an analytical writing assessment, analytical articulation,
Okay.
about the same thing.
Hmm.
So what I did is I focused on articulation. I took a bunch of highly motivated, highly intelligent, dyslexic 16 to 18 year olds. They
Hmm.
were writing like they were 12.
Okay.
I gave them that test, one class period a day for a school year. They ended up scoring average to above average of entering graduate school students.
Hmm.
Some of them were writing better than college graduates.
Right.
And they did that in 180 sessions in a public school. And New York State funded this, the New York State Senate, and it was less than $900 for the whole thing.
Oh, time.
That was 20 years ago.
Okay.
All right. Now, how much better was that? That was 3 times more effective than the best dyslexic college at the time called Landmark College.
Hmm.
It costs less than 1% of the cost, and it costs less than 1/25th of the effort.
Okay.
All right. So that's why people tend to listen to me. Now, let's look at social media.
Hmm.
What you want to do is you want to get engagements. You
Hmm.
want to get things moving. So, how do we do that? The first thing that you need to do is you have to be a subject matter expert for the niche you're in. You have to know it backwards, forwards, inside out. And not only that, not just general things, you really need to have your own special take on it
Okay.
that adds a lot of value.
Right.
So, how do you go about doing that? And if you haven't done that yet, go to college like you have. If you're a young person like yourself, get out in the workforce, develop those skills.
Right.
Because if you don't have something interesting, an interesting slice about how you're dealing with things in your specific area, you're just not going to be able to generate anything that's going to get a lot of traction.
Okay.
So then the next thing you do is you go, and I would literally sit down, and I know people find this painful.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you want to join the grown up workforce and really get out there, you're going to have to spend some money on real AI. And I'm not talking about the $20 a month nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I bought OpenAI's. Remember last December they came out with the pro version for $200 a month?
Yeah.
I bought it that day, and I've been using it daily ever since.
Okay.
Okay. What I do is, first thing you do is go and then just dictate out into a Word document or whatever you're using everything you know about your subject matter.
Okay.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to go to OpenAI Pro, ChatGPT 5 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And just remember, you're going to take this piece by piece. And that takes 5 to 20 minutes to do anything. So you have the Pro version. What I do is I will go and I'll have one running on the internet, one running on the app on my laptop.
Okay.
And then I'll go back and forth between the two, because again, it takes 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes to do anything. And you're going to take what you do and you're going to ask it to turn what you're doing, break it into pieces. And
Okay.
then for each piece, I have it write a PhD level research article on it.
Okay.
And I do that very slowly. I'll ask what's the latest research that adds to what I'm doing, each
Yes.
piece. And then I find I tend to have to break it down into smaller pieces until I have the whole thing done.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will take that combined, each one, and I'll put it in Pro, and I'll say, then work with Pro to find out what is my exact audience on LinkedIn or anything else. But you want one profile per social media you're going after. I just find LinkedIn is the only one really worth it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So you go in, you find out, you create what your audience is, and then you ask, here's the information, give me the ideas for a post.
Okay.
And it'll give you ideas for a post. And it might give you 10, 15 of those. Then for each post, you have the idea. When you're ready to do your work that day, tell it to give you 5 variations. It does 5 variations. And then you say, which one do you like the best? And here's my audience, and tell me why in a paragraph. Do not combine those into one steps. I see people doing this all the time, especially kids just getting out of college. And I keep hearing, this takes so long. Yes, if you want quality work and not the crap that you're getting out there
That's
with all
right.
this garbage AI,
Yeah.
okay, this is how you do it. So then you find out you don't automatically take the recommendation. You pick, you're the human.
Yes.
Okay. You pick and then you take it. Then I go over to Sonic 4.5. So just so you know my setup, because I have heavy work to do. I'm on this all the time. I pay $200 a month for ChatGPT Pro, and I
Yeah.
spend $100 a month on Anthropic.
Oh,
Why? Because I can't do the 45 things in 5 hours and be left with nothing to do for another. But I have to be able to work.
yeah.
So people say $300 a month plus tax. I said yes, but it's saving me. I'm doing multiple things. Like for example, in a morning, I'll apply to 8 podcasts. I will write a LinkedIn post, a LinkedIn article,
Mm-hmm.
and I will knock out all of that within 2 hours. And then I'm spending the other time using 4.5 to answer emails and go through my pod match.
Uh-huh.
This is what I do before I eat breakfast.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
So then as I go to Sonic 4.5, I'll put it in and I'll say, here's my audience. How does this look? And here's where you find it's a human editor type thing. It's about 80-90% of as good as you're going to get with a really good experienced human editor, which we can't afford because these people cost over $100,000 a year. And it'll tell you, and then you'll say, fix it. Do not ask it to give it every possible problem that it has, because you'll just be editing forever. Ask, what are the 2 or 3 biggest problems with this? And it's not 100%. And then fix those. And say, tell me what the problem is. Tell me what your solution is. And tell me what the percentage is. and
Hmm.
then it'll eventually close to 100%. It takes me 10, 12 edits sometimes.
Right.
And then I'll post that. Well, I won't post it. I'll send to my assistant to post it. Then I will take the that post and I'll
Hmm.
say I'll go back to ChatGPT and I'll say to the pro version, turn this into an article. I say 900 words, give or take 100 words. I keep mine a little longer. Then I'll I'll go through the same process with Sonic 4.5.
Hmm.
Now with that, I'm sorry, before I send it off, I then go to my web guy and he gave me like 1,000 ideas for how to get to hooks.
Okay.
So then I would ask, go ahead and what hook should I use? I'll start it off with Five Pro, and then I will have it refined by Sonic.
Hmm.
Okay, and then I do so. I This is how I actually start getting engagements.
Hmm.
This is now not slop. Okay, you don't have to agree with it. A lot of times as it's going through, I'll say, "Yeah, interesting idea. I like what you said here, but modify it this way." So remember, if you're doing the pro versions, the real AI, not the stuff for kids, you can then talk with it. And as again, I have three things going at one time, and I bounce back and forth where needed to where my attention matters the most
Yeah.
until I get through the workload.
Hmm.
And that allows me to, because you remember before all this AI stuff, trying to write a post took forever.
Yeah.
Okay. So I spend my time, I create something good, and I'm noticing it's 10xing my impressions.
Hmm.
Okay. And then I had an issue with how do I get people to actually, read it more. And there
Yeah.
was the hook that I had to deal with. So these are the things that I'm going across. Now, when it comes to how do you take what you're doing and doing it authentically, I'm going to you just so you know when it comes to education,
Yeah.
things have not changed that much since World War II in any country for what we're taught for gen ed students. For you, for example, you remember in school, if you did two things,
Hmm.
if you planned out what you were doing logically, gave yourself enough time, okay? And
Hmm.
then number two, you worked really freaking hard.
Hmm.
If you did those two things, you did really well. If
Yeah.
you did not do those two things, you did badly. It was all dependent on you doing those. That makes sense?
Yes, that's right. Hmm.
Now, for a dyslexic, because most of the stuff we do, kindergarten through college, is based on the back part of the brain, we got basically almost nothing going on.
Hmm.
Now, do you remember when you were when in your MBA program? That was what, 2 years?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you remember it was ultra specific just on business?
that's right. Hmm.
Did they care at all if you could read and write Shakespeare?
No, they're not.
No. Did they care about your ability to identify music?
No, there were no
No.
programs.
Okay. It's ultra specific. That's the front part of the brain. Now,
Hmm.
you remember when you did this, did you also understand that you had to take in information, process it into a value added form, and write out something that was original? So
That's
your
right.
teacher learned something. And if you couldn't do that, how did your teachers react?
Yeah, of course. There's no, I mean, if you did not add value to what was being discussed, there's no point even speaking up, right?
Right. They got rather upset.
Yeah.
And typically when we're talking about like to give you an example, I was on a podcast the other day with a mother and daughter about AI in
Uh-huh.
teens. And the mom was a marketing data person. So what she would do is she would look at your specific data, then look at the trends, and then with those 2 points, you'd add them together to come up with something creative.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would like to show you, this is how what we can do to help your audience learn how to do this. And I'm going to show you a technique I use from the front part of the dyslexic brain. I already showed you how we jumped 8 grade levels in one academic year, one class period a day.
That's right.
But to make this work for more applicable areas, we're not doing articulation first. We're going to do word analysis first and then articulate. We're flipping it over.
Okay.
Okay. So let's take a look and we haven't talked before. This is all completely new,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Okay. So I want you to tell me give me an example of one of your audience. Let's make up a name, and you can tell, or unless you know somebody specific, what are they into? And I'll walk you through the process.
Okay, so I was just checking my audience stats the other day. So they're like between 25 and 34. Let's call them John for ease.
Okay.
Mostly males because 85% of them are male. So John, who's somewhere around 30, has a business or is planning to open a business and is probably doing a corporate job and has some side hustle and is looking at
Okay.
leveraging social media. Yeah,
So his business.
yeah.
What type of business does he want to open up? What do you think the biggest category is?
I don't have enough data on that, but let's just say a services business or a
What's that?
SaaS software as a service.
Okay, software. What specific type of software? I know you're guessing here, but you're
Yeah.
giving me an educated guess. What type of educated? What are we talking about here for a service?
Let's just say an AI driven business optimizing profit.
Okay, business doing what?
Hmm. Okay, now we're diving even further, and I'm going even further in the guessing zone. So I'll just say HR, human resource.
HR. Okay, but you don't know what the
Yeah,
specific sauce of what he's doing.
yeah,
Okay, you see how I'm going here?
yeah,
I ask you a question, you give me an answer. I ask her a question, I get
yeah.
much more
That's right.
specific.
That's right.
Okay, let's flip that over to what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Right.
what you're looking, I understand, for influencers on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I want to help them get better at the content that they create so they can grab better deals with brands, right?
Okay, let me ask you, why do you want to help them get better at content creation?
So that I can see better content.
So you can see. No, let's get more specific.
Okay.
Why do you want to help them get better content creation?
Okay. Better content creation helps them generate revenue for themselves. I mean, for monetizing their content.
Right, but give me a personal reason why you want to help them get better content, not something I get out of an MBA course. Give me something specific. Why are you spending your time? What personally is driving you to do this?
Okay. Why it's driving me is right. At some point, even I want to monetize my content. So I'm looking forward to it.
Right, but you could monetize selling hot dogs. Okay,
Yeah.
why are you specifically doing this?
Uh, so content creation is something that a lot of people can just do, right? And even if they're not personally or professionally very qualified, they can get onto social media. And so a lot of people can do that. So try to democratize this whole situation, right?
So you're trying to democratize it. What do you see how I'm trying to find your own personal angle here?
Yeah.
Okay, why are you trying to democratize this? Why is that important to you?
It gives everybody an opportunity to have a better life per se, right? And
Why is giving people a chance for a better life who are poor? Why is that important to you?
it improves, I know, let's just say it improves the quality of life for everybody else because if everybody
No,
elevates.
not don't give me the generic answer. Why is this important to you?
No, that's the only reason I can think of, to be very frank. There's no specific pain point for me, right?
Okay.
No. Yeah, that's how it is.
Okay. So um what you're looking to do,
Hmm.
okay? You see how we hit a wall at you want
Yeah.
to help the poor
Hmm.
go ahead and get better at this, right?
Yeah.
You want to give the poor the ability to have a better life. You want to
Yeah.
democratize it. Okay. So now what word would you give to reduce that to a universal thing?
A word for that.
One word to describe that. Do you see how I just gave you a question that's really hard?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Here's how we make it easy.
Hmm.
So what we're going to do
Mm-hmm.
is I'm just going to use John as the hero, but the hero is actually you. I'm just doing that so people can understand everything. So uh, you're the hero. I'm sorry, my mistake. What I want you to do is to say your first name and
Uh-huh.
what you want to do in one sentence.
Okay. Myself. So I'm Aditya, and I want to give content creators a better chance at monetizing them their content creation, so that they can lead better lives and get better revenue out of that content. Is
Okay,
that correct?
now,
Was that correct?
what is the most important word that you just said in that sentence?
One word?
Yes, the most important word.
I think I used the word democratize. No,
Nope.
no, I did not.
Lead.
Huh?
Lead.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So when I'm looking at that, the best one that I'm finding is lead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to thesaurus. All right. I put thesaurus into Google. I'm going to thesaurus.com
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to put in the word lead.
Right.
Okay. Now, why am I doing that? Do you see? So, what I do is I'll have you say who you are, what you want to do, and then you're looking for the most important word, the
Mhm.
one that is going to transform people's lives. And
Right.
you see how you came out? Do you understand why I said lead? Because that moves you towards what this is what you're really trying to do.
Right.
It's you have to find what is the most important word. You don't know what the most important word is. Just go to Chat GPT and it'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them to rank it. Then you, being the human, you make the ultimate decision. So we're going to take with
Okay.
lead. All right, now I'm going. Um, okay, I'm going to go and try to find a better word for that. I'm going
Right.
to read some for you.
Mm-hmm.
Advantage, edge, margin, point, start, top. Any of those do you think better represents what you're trying to do?
Edge would be a better word.
Edge. Okay, let's go ahead and click on edge. All right. So now we're looking for the word that has a definition that best matches what's in your head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going well just for this example, you can keep going and finding more and more precise words.
Right.
But you find how edge,
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to give them an edge. You see how that's a lot better than lead.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go and to focus on finding the word that has the definition that best matches what's in your head. So I
Mm-hmm.
would literally have people go through, type out the word, go to Merriam-Webster's online dictionary, read out all the definitions, find your best definition, type that out. And then you're trying to keep doing that until you find the word that best matches what's going on. Yeah, this takes a couple of hours because it's this
Yeah.
serious. I would keep going down level after level until the bottom level you find the junk words. Then the last one you did, that's the best one that best matches your head. That's
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then now we have that is what I call our post universal theme. Do
Mm-hmm.
you see how what we did is right there is a form of word analysis?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is where dyslexics, once properly trained, we have a massive advantage.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have your name, we have our universal theme, which is edge, because again, I'm just showing you this as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is the best villain, a person or a concept that can best prevent you from providing your listeners with an edge? What would that be?
The lack of internet? I don't know. I mean, it's
Lack
what?
of lack of la- why don't we call that lack of infrastructure?
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, because they're financially challenged. Okay, so we have your name, we have edge, and we have lack of infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the primary villain. Put that into a basic sentence.
Oh, right. So that's how it's working. So
No, yep, but go ahead and just add a few words, maybe move some things around, and put it into a basic sentence.
into my motive is what you meant?
No. Just we need to add, we have your name, edge, and lack of infrastructure. That's what can prevent your audience from being successful. All right.
Okay.
Or is there a better, something better that can prevent them from allowing you to providing your audience with an edge? Is that the best answer? Or is that the first thing you came up with?
No, it's the first thing that I came up with.
Okay. Is there anything better that you came up with? You can come up with.
No, it all boils down to infrastructure. So yeah, that would be the best thing.
Okay. I
Yeah.
would actually say I don't think it's really infrastructure that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think it's you need to grow your audience
Mm-hmm.
in order to help show them how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Originality.
Can you
Yeah.
see how that's more realistic?
Yeah.
Okay. What do we call that in one word that is preventing you from growing your own audience? Or one or two words? How would we reduce that to one or two words?
Something that's preventing me from growing my own audience. Commitment. Lack of commitment.
Commitment. Okay. All right. So commitment on your part to doing what you need to do to be successful. Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So what we have now is, so I need you to put your name. We have your name, then we have the word edge, and then we have the word commitment. I need you to fill in a few words between those to make a basic sentence.
A basic sentence.
Yeah, just turn that into a sentence.
So Alton needs to show more commitment to provide his audience with a better edge in their content creation journey.
Okay, nope, with an edge. Then we're going to put because. Give me one really good reason.
Because the audience does not have the full knowledge or the idea as to how social media might work.
Right, but you see how that's not really a good answer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this is something that would take you time to think
Yes,
about.
true. Yes.
But you see how what I did is I going through that process
Mm-hmm.
that you need to like when we talked off camera, I was telling you that when you're in school because you're not dyslexic, there was two things that kept you from that you need to do to get good grades. You needed to plan very well,
Yeah.
and then you needed to work really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got good grades and anything you did. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So what you're probably going to have to do here is you see how you identified one of the major things that you personally have
Yeah.
to work through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you see how that basic idea of planning really well and then working really hard should take care of your biggest obstacle.
That's right.
Okay. That's a reason. See how I got there?
Yeah.
Okay. So what your audience needs to understand is what we just went through is an example of how we can take something very broad that you're trying to do. And how did I get there? I kept asking I'd ask you a question, give me an answer. I would ask a simple part, the important part of your answer, and turn that into a question. And I kept going until you couldn't go any farther.
That's right.
And I would keep trying to pull you away from the generic answer because the generic answer doesn't do anything.
That's right.
And then when we finally got down to as far as you could go, I had you put it into a sentence. And I'm looking for the most important word. And the most important word is the transformation, not what you're doing. It's the transformation.
Yeah.
Okay. And to me, that was look. And the first thing we came up with was edge, which is so much better because every time you try this, the beginning part is going to be very big, very broad.
Yeah.
We want something very specific. I would keep going with edge. I would look down, see if you can find a better word by finding a definition that best matches what's in your head, or you just really like a word until you get down to the next level and it's garbage and the last one. That's it. And yes, that does take a couple of hours, but this is your business.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Then we find what's the optimum villain. Now, when we did that, you came up with a generic answer, and then I went back and kept going until we got something specific.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had to come together into we just added a few words to make a basic sentence. That is word analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're having trouble with this, yeah, find a dyslexic classmate or a dyslexic peer. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And you will find out that they will be exceedingly good at this because we have 2.5 times the neuroactivity that you do in that part of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then next, what we do is then we go because we come up with a really good reason. And when we're looking at coming up with a really good reason, I tend to try to reduce it to 2 data points,
Mm-hmm.
what you're really into, and then combine those to come up with a good reason. And then we have steps after there, but that's something initially of how you to get you going so that if we were going to use this example, you would focus on your podcast and using the word edge on everything.
Right.
Because now that definition, if you do this properly, that's you. That's how you see the world. And
That's right.
then no matter, even if you're doing something that's very generic, it has your slant to it. Okay. And
Yeah.
then you have to take the knowledge that you've gained where you became not only very good in your field, but your own little secret sauce, how to do a part of it. Remember, all you have to do to add value is take your original part and show somebody else how they can move 1 or 2 steps down the ladder. The more steps you can move them down, the more you can charge. But all you have to do initially is do that, and then over time you develop more things. But that's how you get things started when you're looking at a generic mess out there. And this is how you get past all this AI slop that's written out there, because most of the stuff out there is slop.
Right. Okay. Now, Russell, I don't know how to describe what we just discussed and what we did, but yeah, I mean, going through that journey surely was transformational. Sitting here doing this with you was transformational. I know if somebody does that over an hour, 2, 3 hours, definitely a lot better result could come out. But thanks for this. Thanks for doing this with me. And yeah, this was the first time for me. I mean, I think the second time because somebody did a breath work exercise with me the last time, but nobody's picked my brain like this in a very long time in the episode itself. Thank you so much for doing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and not a problem. If anybody wants to go through this, if you go to dyslexiaclasses.com, that's dyslexia classes with an S, dyslexiaclasses.com. There's a contact me form there. Just fill that out and I'll get right back to you.
All right. So I was actually about to ask you how can people get in touch with you, but you mentioned you've got LinkedIn and now you mentioned your website, but still, if you want to share any more details.
Nope, that's it. If you want to get in contact me, let me know. And just so you know, that's a process that I teach 90-year-old children how to read.
Okay.
And it's very successful. I have had 10-year-old children reading like they're 7 years old, and my most successful case, they were applying that process exclusively 2, 3 hours a night
Mm-hmm.
for 6 months, and then she was writing as if she was 16 years old.
Oh, okay. All right.
I worked with her for 15 minutes a week. It's that simple.
Damn. All right. Thank you so much, Russell. Thank you so much for joining in on this episode. This has been a great transformational episode for me as well. I'm looking forward to doing it offline and see where it leads me. And I'm guessing the audience will have to do it for themselves as well. To the audience who's been watching and listening, if you like what we talked about, do leave a like. The comment section is open for questions, suggestions, perspectives, and in anything else you want to add to this. And don't forget to subscribe before you close the window itself. Thank you so much, Russell. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay, thanks for having me.